Good evening, everyone. It's Sunday. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. All right, I have a problem paying my husband's debt. I wasn't actually going to upload tonight because it's back to school tomorrow. Not Thanksgiving break is over, but I thought, heck, why not? Let's do one more video before school starts. Let's do it. And thank you so much for joining me.
All right, let's go to Alexandra in San Diego. What's up, Alexandra?
Hi, Dr. John. How's Jay? Thank you guys so much for what you do.
Thank you so much for calling. What's up?
Hi, so I just have a question about kind of like the mindset issue I'm having with combining finances. So my husband and I have actually been together for a long time. We've been together for 12 years, married for 7. But we never joined our finances. You know, we were young and we just thought it was smarter to just keep it separate to avoid any sort of issues. Everything was great for a while, but, you know, the way I was raised is no matter how little you make, you always save, even if it's $5, $10, $20 a paycheck. And the way he was raised is pretty much opposite. They had a lot of money. They blew through it. He didn't learn how to save. He just learned how to get into debt. So
She's actually on normal speed, so I did not speed this up. Sounds like this is a discussion they should have had before getting married, but I can't throw stones. How many of us have gotten married before we have, major discussions like, hey, how do you perceive money and how do I perceive money?
here we are, 11 years into being together. We started having some issues with our marriage where he was just drinking a lot, spending a lot of money even behind my back, racked up credit cards, things like that. So then we came to a point about maybe like 7, 8 months ago to where we had a separation for a little bit. We thought we were done, thought we were getting divorced, but, I guess God brought us back together. We talked it through. He decided to get sober on his own, thank God, so it wasn't me telling him like an ultimatum or anything. So now we're at a point where I found Dave Ramsey and I've binge watched everything, and I want to get to the point where we can kind of start fresh and kind of like almost like renew our vows and where we're going to, have our finances be combined. But my biggest struggle is I don't have too much money.
Good Lord, this woman, I think I can talk without breathing in between. Holy cow. Okay, just keep on. We'll just keep going here.
I only have about $25,000 saved, but it's taken me a long time to get it to this point. And I just feel like when I take on his debt, I feel like
All right, I'm going to stop her right this minute. Please don't tell me she's one of those women who thinks that everything has to be done her way, only her way, and if it's not done her way, then everybody else is wrong. There are people like that. I mean, it goes for guys too, but she I thought I could rattle fast. Okay? She has in her mind what her ideal husband is. This guy is not meeting it. He's not. Okay, she has in her mind, this is how I was raised, this is the way I see things, this is the way you should be, yada, yada, yada. And I also see I actually see kind of two forks in the road here. One is a drinking problem, okay, and I'm not going to minimize it and say something like, gee, I wonder how much of her nagging causes him to drink, because that would be a mean thing to say. And the other thing I think about, the other side, is simply they're just not compatible financially. It's almost like really there are two issues here. Drinking is one, and not compatible financially. Like, I know we're only a couple minutes into this video, but I almost am willing to suspect that even if his drinking improves, and hopefully it does, okay, because that definitely is a relationship wrecker, right? But even if his drinking improved, would that necessarily change the way he spends money? And would it change in such a way that it would satisfy her? And no one, in my opinion, should spend their entire life trying to satisfy their mate to become the person that their mate thinks they should be. The drinking, out, yes. That part definitely needs to be fixed. But let's just shove that aside, because for what I almost see, like I said, I see two problems. And we're only, what is this? 1 minute and 44 seconds. I also detect just a little bit of holier than thou. Just a tad of self-righteousness. Hey, that's just me. That's what I see. That's what I hear. Or I should say, that's what I hear.
he committed a crime and I am having to serve the sentence for it, and I don't know how to get out of that.
Okay, so she feels that he has committed a crime, that crime basically being not being the fiscally responsible person, perhaps husband, non-drinker that she would like. That's a hell of a thing to say, that you feel your spouse has committed a crime and you're serving a sentence. I don't think I've ever heard that before. So she sees herself way up there on the pedestal of self-righteousness, and ye who is beneath her, okay, is not meeting to that level. And she is in probably worse than purgatory even, okay? She feels she is serving time behind bars for his errors. God help her, or God help the guy that's with her.
Mindset. So that's what I'm calling you for.
So number one, thank you for being honest and brave. Okay.
What is brave about this? I mean, John, I love you, but that has nothing to do with being bravery. This is her. This is a woman speaking her mind as to what she sees is what is it? What I hear right now is a holier than thou woman laying out the cards on the way she thinks other people should be. That's really what I hear, and there's nothing brave about having to say that. Bravery is dealing with your husband's debt. That's bravery. Finding a way to step up to the plate. It is not brave to come up and say, you know what, my husband's a real two-time loser. I'm serving I know he didn't say that literally, okay, but my husband's a two-time loser. I feel like he committed a crime, and his crime was not making me happy, making me feel like I'm sentenced, to jail for his actions. There's nothing brave about saying that. That's not bravery.
Okay. I'm grateful for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all been through it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know y'all are technically still married. You are not ready to be fully committed to doing this thing again yet.
They're not right for each other. Take away the drinking, they're still not right. Take away the drinking, okay? They still would not be right for each other. He could not meet her needs even if he was a non-drinker. Because, if I'm correct, she said they were raised differently. Okay? He was raised to see money one way. She was raised to see money another way. That has nothing to do with alcohol. Okay? At least not that I'm aware of.
Here's why.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm telling you, you're not. You want to get back in the boat, but you want to keep one foot on shore.
She wants control. That's what she wants. She wants control. She wants him to do things and to see things the way she wants. Arg. Again, I'm putting the drinking aside. I've not forgotten that part. I'm looking at the relationship aspect.
Because you're not fully trusting that he's all in. Or maybe you know that he's all in, or it feels like he's all in, but your body is reminding you on a daily basis, hey, we've been through hell before. Why are you getting back in that boat?
If you had a woman that said to you probably damn near every day, you know what, you effed up and I feel like I'm paying the price for your crime, would you really want to be with her?
And the scary thing about loving somebody who struggles with any sort of addiction is that's the one time I might tell you to have your own account, is if somebody is struggling with an addiction and they're draining your money.
They're blaming all this on the addiction. I have to be really honest. I don't see this all just the cause of an addiction. If it was just the cause of an addiction, then she wouldn't be saying stuff like, I feel like I'm in prison or whatever it is. I feel like, I'm serving a sentence for his crime. That's a pretty crappy thing to say about somebody. I mean, I think of all the, I don't know. That's just a really. It's almost like she hates him. They need to end the marriage. They need to end this. She doesn't have the desire to help him through it, and even if she could get him through the alcoholism, I'm not sure he would live his life to her standards. She needs somebody that can live life more to her standards. That's
And.
Okay.
Right? So that's a terrifying moment. And at the same time, I'm telling you, you cannot have a marriage that works long term unless you go all in.
Yeah, telling your husband or your wife every day that you're paying a penance to being with them, that's not going to work. That's when you just say, look, we're just two different people. You know what? I can't help you through your drinking problem. I don't have the time or the energy. And even so, we have deeper issues, and that is just how we want to live our life. Sober. Okay, so even if you were sober, it's just how do you each want to live it? Alcohol isn't, fixing the alcohol problem is not going to change that aspect. Like she said, one's country, the other's city, or something like that with money. Yeah, what was it? She said she's a saver, he's a spender. Alcohol's not going to change that. Excuse me. I mean, being sober isn't going to change that. At least not to my knowledge.
Unless you risk getting hurt again. That's the only way marriage works. And you
Yeah, I
look
guess
at that's
I'm
what
scared
that's what the word vulnerability means. I am giving you permission to hurt me. Please don't.
Sometimes I think John is just a little too soft. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I think he's just a little too soft and needs to be more blunt.
Yeah, and I think that's why we kept it separate for so long, because he could make all the mess he can want, and it never affected me financially.
But it
now,
did.
See, that's not a way to go into a marriage. That's just not. You know, do your thing, but don't affect me. There's really no reason that I can see 3 minutes into this as to why they should be married.
It affected you in so many ways. It took your soul from you.
Maybe she took his soul from him, nagging him every day. Maybe she gave him a lot of put downs. Okay, I think about my shopping addiction. It sure as hell wouldn't have helped me if somebody had been insulting me the whole time. It would not have helped me get better if somebody had said, you know, Carrie, I feel like, you know, I'm in penance because of your actions. It would be easier for them to just say, you know what, we need to take steps to solve it. If we can't solve it, we have to end the relationship. You can end it without, you know, putting somebody down at the same time. I suspect she's put him down plenty of times in person. And I'm not saying that if you're with somebody who has an addiction that you're not going to feel that sense of frustration and, you know, things are said that you don't necessarily mean. But there comes a point where instead of saying those things, you might just be better off to say, you know what? Your financial history in this case is rooted one way. Mine is rooted another way. On top of that, we have a layer of drinking addiction. On top of that, we have a layer of I'm the woman and I want to wear the pants in the family. I see multiple layers to this issue. This isn't just one issue.
it's true.
It took everything from you. And by the way, if y'all are married and he dies, it's you can't be like, no, that's his side of the house. Take that half the couch. That's just how that works. So you were living in a fantasy. You wanted the best part of being married. You loved being around that guy, but you didn't want to deal with the worst part is this guy's not trustworthy and he's not safe.
Yeah.
I think she partly just wanted to get married for the wedding dress. There are people who go into the marriage because they want that day to bask in the sun. And then after that, it's like, don't really want it. She may have been one of those.
Right? And so here you are. You've got a moment. The deck is clear. You've got to decide, am I going to go all in? And if I do go all in, what are my parameters for going all in?
If she hasn't gone all in by now, I don't think she's going in. And I don't blame her if she walks away. I could not be married to an alcoholic. I could not do it. Even if we had the same financial beliefs, I could not be married to an alcoholic or a gambleaholic or a drug addict. There's some areas I just can't do it.
And that is, I will not be in a situation where I'm ever scared again. And one of the things that scares me is not knowing how our money works, what you're spending stuff on, where we're going to end up financially. Am I going to have to work when I'm 92 years old because my husband drank our money away or spent our money away, right? So it's a matter of I won't be in a situation where I don't feel safe anymore. And if I don't know where the money is, I don't feel safe.
But my question is, has this drinking gone on their entire marriage? I mean, like, you know, from day one, she knew he was doing this, or is this something that's more recent? This video is 9 months old. So is this something more recent? You know, they've been together over a decade. So that would be something I would ask, you know?
Right. Yeah, and I guess I'm just scared of the future because who knows? I mean, as far as the last 6 months have been, he's been completely sober and doing so good. He finally got on board with me with the whole Ramsey thing, and we're about to start that together. But you never know when, if in a year he might do something behind my back or.
So she's gonna hold this over him the rest of his life. You know what? She needs to divorce. That would be like somebody holding, I mean, sorry for sounding pissed off. That would be like somebody holding it over me for the rest of my life. Well, Carrie, you used to be a shopping addict. You've had 2 bankruptcies. You know what? You could fall back into that every day. I don't need somebody like that. Get the hell out. That's what I would tell him. Okay? He's doing his damnedest to try to get better, to supposedly meet her standards, which I think to some extent is unmeetable, because I think her nose is really high in the air. Okay? But if all she's going to do is sit and tell him, well, at any moment you could fall back, at any moment you could, I don't trust you, then she needs to do him a favor. And she needs to end the marriage so he can find someone who will help him to be a better person by, in my opinion, recognizing who he is today. It's like it's like I tell my students, I will trust you until you give me a reason not to. Okay? And I do that with anybody. I trust pretty much, well, I mean, logically, of course, using common sense. But, in general, I trust you until you give me a reason not to. She's had too much distrust with her husband, okay? And I don't think she can get over it. And because she can't get over it, she needs to move on. That's a whole lot healthier for both of them. Than it is for her to say, well, he's been 6 months sober. Guess what? At some point, I was 6 months clean of being a shopping addict. Right? Everybody who's ever had an addiction has, at some point, who has recovered. At some point, we were 24 hours clean. And at some point, we were a month clean. And at some point, we were 6 months. Another point, we were at 12 months. And the last thing that we need is someone to rub it in our noses every single day. Oh, gee, you could fall back. It's only been 10 years. It's only been 20 years, but you could fall back. This woman's nose is so high in the air. You know what? She needs to leave.
Like start drinking again.
Yeah,
so
but that's all marriages. The great Esther Perel says the worst part about
you wrecked the car once, you might wreck the car again, right? This is the type of woman that's never going to let an argument be forgotten. This is the type of woman that would sit there and tell her guy, I told you so. This is the type of woman that will make damn sure that any mistake her man makes is never forgotten, always brought up, and probably at the most inopportune time. But this woman can't put something down. And I don't think it even, just the way she comes across in her tone, in the way she speaks, okay? I don't even think this would change if he weren't an alcoholic. I think this is just who she is. This is just who she is. His drinking history certainly doesn't help any. But like I said, put that aside, she is who she is. This is the type of person she is. If she is at the point where she is going to remind him, and damn well she does, okay? Well, you could fall back. But I always say, anyone who's ever had an addiction to anything, at some point, when they finally got clean, at some point, they were 24 hours clean. At some point, they were 2 weeks clean, a month clean, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years. At some point, it all starts with that one step. And I wouldn't want a woman like this, okay? If I was a guy, okay? I wouldn't want a woman like this trying to telling me on a daily basis, well, you could fail. I guarantee you, she reminds him daily, weekly at least, that he could fail. He could fall back.
a marriage is every day is a risk. Every day. You've been married 70 years. You wake up and you're both 90. And I wake up and say, I love you. Will you love me today? That's marriage. My wife can do something crazy in a year. I can do something crazy. Like, that's life. That's it. I've got a close buddy of mine that was driving his family home from a family weekend, and their car rolled over a bunch of times. They got out. He didn't. That's marriage. That's life.
She needs to live with cats.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
think I'm also emotionally attached to my money to where, like, I feel like I'm about to, I've been saving for, like, almost 10 years to get to these, like, lousy $25,000. I'm about to drain it to $1,000 just so he can, I could pay off all of his stupid decisions.
it's your...
Okay, well, lady, you know what you need to do then? You need to do each other a favor, and you need to divorce. And I'm not going to say that I blame her. Okay, she's upset. She's worked this hard to get this money saved, and now she feels like it's all going down the tube. Yeah, it is. It might be. It might be. But are you going to hate him for forever for it? You know, she really needs to be married to some cats. She needs about 4 cats and multiple bank accounts, and she just needs to. That's what she needs to do. I don't think she's good relationship material. Like I said, it's not just this guy. This will be any guy that she dates, any guy that she marries.
Yours. It's yours. It's not his. And as long as you use that language, then stay separated.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, John.
When you're ready to say this is our money, because you can't expect him to join accounts with you, but you're not joining with him on the other side of this thing.
If you're married and your spouse gets a ticket, guess what? You're probably both on the vehicle. So guess what? It affects both of your driving records. You know, choose wisely, I guess, right? Choose wisely who you marry.
If you're in, you got to be in. And if you're in, it's his debt and it's your debt. It's y'all's debt.
Okay. Well, I think I'm I really want to be all in.
Her lips say she wants to be all in, but her money says we're the hell out.
But I guess you're right. Yeah, I just have to take the risk. Otherwise, there's no other way to
Jade, tell me if I'm wrong here. I can't think of another way of going all in than going all in. You've got $25,000. Call your own bluff.
She's more in love with her money than she is with her husband. Okay? She's more in love with her money than she is with her husband. I'm beginning to see where the drinking problem's coming from. I would really like to know how long he's had the drinking problem. I hope I didn't miss it at the beginning, okay? Because it takes a lot of concentration to listen to these videos. So I do sometimes miss something, okay? But if the money were drowning and the husband were drowning, and she could only save one, which one would she save?
How much does he owe?
Things I've been looking at. Not too much, actually. About $11,000 on his car, $2,000 in credit cards left, and about $15,000 in student loans.
And if he weren't an alcoholic, would this make any difference? Would it make any difference? Those bills sound like very normal bills. 11,000 student loans, some money on a car. This sounds like every average marriage relationship. I don't see anything here that's extreme. Like I said, take away the alcohol, okay? It's almost, I kind of get a sense that she uses his drinking as part of the excuse to say the other parts of their relationship that she doesn't like. It's like the drinking, the alcohol issue is the default to every single problem. But I don't actually see it that way. The alcohol issue is one issue, okay? The way she sees money is another issue. And how she views her husband, she doesn't view him with a lot of respect. She really doesn't. And if you can't view your husband with a lot of respect, then you're always going to be talking down to him. Right?
Is he still actively creating debt? Like, is he, in the face of you paying these things off, is he going to go spend more on a credit card?
He's been really good. So since he got sober and we had this whole conversation, he started doing Uber. So we both go to school, we both work full time, but he also started doing, the Uber and Lyft at the same time. So he's working 14-hour days, and he got his credit cards down from like 15,000 down to 2. And,
so he's helping.
He's busting it.
He's helping. You're just afraid.
Yeah.
Is it the...
And she's going to remind him in between all of that he could fall backwards.
The drinking you're afraid he's going to go back to, fall back into that? Or...
I'm actually surprisingly not worried about him relapsing. I'm more...
This is about your money.
A hard time.
This is, Alexander, this is about your money.
It is. I'm just so attached to it because I worked so hard to earn it that I don't want to, just pretty much see it all go.
Are you?
Guess what? Lots of people have earned money, and lots of people have had to see it go. I've earned money. I've had to see it go. All right. There's nothing unusual or special about being in that situation. I think a lot of people have been in that situation.
Is it worth your marriage?
No, absolutely not.
I gotta say, I feel like we're talking a lot about him, but I feel like now it's you.
Alexander, it's you.
I feel like now I hate to say it like this, but I feel like now the problem has shifted over to maybe now you're the problem.
Yeah, but that's something a person like her is not going to see. Okay, I saw it into 3 minutes into the video, right? I believe I saw it within 3 minutes of the video. It's like, nah, she is the problem. She's part of the problem.
You're both are the problem, but you're both are the solution. You've got to decide: is holding your secret, holding your little pacifier blankie that you feel like keeps you safe, is worth your marriage? And if it is, have the courage to look him in the eye and say, "You're not worth $24,000," and be done with it. Let him.
Exactly. That's where her heart really is. Her heart is with her money. The social stigma part of her wants to be married and to show that, hey, it's that, what I call we're putting on a show of marriage. Okay. That's what she wants as far as show. But when it comes to who she really is and what she really values, it's the money. But to friends and family, she wants to put on a show of marriage.
Let him go. And otherwise say, I'm all in. I've been asking you to be all in. I'm looking at a changed man. You changed your entire life. He changed his friend circle. He changed the way his body copes with stress and rejection and fear. He's working 17 jobs to pay his debts off.
If I were the husband, I would end the marriage. And the reason I would end the marriage is if I knew that that's why my kitty ears keep hitting my microphone. I would end the marriage because if I heard this call and I would recognize my wife's voice, she's never gonna let me live down the past, and I can't be with someone that will never let me live down the past. I just couldn't.
Why don't you join him and be all in? Because he sounds like he is now.
Yeah, no, it's totally worth it.
No, it's not. Lady, please. No, it's not. Okay? Seriously. Draining yourself down to $1,000, you're going to hold that over his head too. This is the type of woman that's going to hold stuff over people's heads. Okay? She's never going to let him forget how much she sacrificed.
Definitely leaning towards that way. It just sucks to have to
Don't
finish
lean.
over from
Hey,
scratch.
you can't lean. You can't lean at the altar. You jump. You jump. I go all in.
No one here is saying it's easy. Here, no one
it's
here
a
is
risk.
saying it's easy.
Hey, you could call us back in 3 weeks, and this could have ended terribly. That's the risk. That's what love is. That's what marriage is. That's what friendship is.
Okay, John. All right. So anyways, that's the end of that. Well, I've given you my 2 cents on that. I think they should end it. Case closed on that. All right, folks. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. I would like to thank you so much for joining me. I do hope you will consider subscribing. I will try to upload tomorrow on Monday evening. Can't guarantee it, but I will do my best. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye.